I never thought he would die. I never thought any of us would ever die at that point. I mean,
well, I would,
shit got close.
I would say that, but I would say that I saw him so much worse so many other nights where I thought he might not wake up tonight. I did have that feeling, but then you're young, so you feel immortal. But I saw him way...
Yes, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that night wasn't the craziest night.
No, and he was generally healthier at that particular time. And I think actually what happened is just... a shock, the old shock to the system.
Yeah.
Like
he got sober and then he went back. You know what I mean?
He's
That's
been
what does it
mostly
in.
okay, for a while, and then just kind of took it to the mat one night.
Yeah.
And I listen. I remember that night very well.
Yeah.
I was wide awake the whole night myself. So, and we did a show in Houston, and we got in the bus and drove. All night.
It was a terrible show too. By the way.
It's not a great show because we kind of went off the rails a little bit before the show, and then we drove all night. I remember getting out in New Orleans, in the morning at 10 in the morning or something. Mm-hmm. We didn't go to bed,
Right.
So it was one of those nights.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like shit can happen real easy.
With cocaine.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
if you're fucking around with pills.
Yeah, all that.
And you got that addictive spirit comes knocking hard, and it does. And addiction's like that.
You know what I mean?
It's powerful. So if somebody who's been sober for a while gets a hit of something really hard, it's like, especially coming off all that pressure and all that situation.
Yeah, like he wasn't feeling good about it. So he was under a lot of stress.
Yeah. Pissed at himself
we
about
were
the
negative.
show.
We were in a negative spot there for sure.
We were.
And and also another thing that had just happened is, you remember this, we got ripped off for a lot of money.
Yeah, we were
in Boulder.
Yeah, in Boulder. We were set up, actually.
This is what happened. We go into the hotel, and we played the show, and our tour manager's got literally a fucking suitcase of cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And which is cool, first of all.
Yeah.
Until it gets stolen.
And then
until somebody takes it,
it's
cool.
And so we
Did
check
he have
in.
a handcuff on
we
it?
check in late at night, like probably late, like after midnight or something. We check into this hotel, and he goes up to his room, puts a suitcase on the bed, gets a call from the front desk. You got a FedEx down there.
Come get your FedEx package. Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Goes downstairs, gets the FedEx, comes back. Suitcase is gone from the bag.
Totally set up. Yeah.
How much was in it?
And no FedEx.
I think it was like $50,000 or something.
I mean, it was a bunch.
No FedEx.
I don't know. I don't know how much it was. I thought it was a lot.
It was a lot. It was enough that it was like.
It was like 2 nights of show.
Yeah,
I don't know, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No FedEx, right?
So we were pissed.
Was there a FedEx down?
I don't think
so.
No,
there was a fucking FedEx.
I need that information.
No FedEx. Yeah.
I did too.
Was there FedEx?
I really needed
what was
that.
the FedEx?
But was
Because
there
you're
FedEx?
like, well, it could have been both things.
Right. That insures it. If there's no FedEx, then it's
Yeah.
I like the way you
It's
think
fuckery.
because it's
Yeah, it's
plausible.
For sure.
It's plausible that.
But was there FedEx?
No, but the question is right, and it shows your shrewd mind, Joe. And this is why, because it's plausible.
I think I have a lawyer thing.
Yeah, it's plausible that he could have had a FedEx downstairs. He goes down to get it. Someone's in the hall, sees him leave the room, or is directly across the hall, and looking out their peephole.
It's possible. But
and
that
they
didn't
see
happen.
him go out,
Yeah,
and then they go in.
Right.
Hey, I need to just check the time because you and I have a little date with Danny Clinch over there at 7. You know about that, right?
14.
Okay, thank you very much.
Really?
Okay, yeah, we're gonna play.
Excuse me.
Right.
That's some wild stuff though. That's funny.
Yeah. So we were mad.
Yeah.
We were also mad, And that was the night before we went to Houston.
Yep, that's right.
What happened in Houston?
It just was all downhill from that point on. Cocaine was in Houston.
Oh.
Actually, cocaine was in Los Angeles. That's what happened from L.A. over. We hit L.A. and then it was kind of like that whole run to me from L.A. over.
Was it no cocaine before that?
Yeah, he was sober, and then what happened is we did the West Coast tour, and Lisa and Nico, his newborn baby and girlfriend, were on the tour bus. And I remember in my mind thinking like, oh, cool, this is like the next phase of Blind Melon, like families, and like everyone was on
Sober.
good behavior, sober, everyone like, yeah, soberish, like everyone was being cool, and he was totally sober. And then Lisa and Nico fly back home when we play L.A., and then from L.A. to Houston to New Orleans, where he passes away, is just party. Starting from L.A. over, it's just a party.
What happened in L.A.?
Eventually, I joined it.
He scored with a guy. I actually know the guy. He actually scored with somebody, and that was it. You know.
Oh yeah, there was a serious party that night.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
the Sunset
Did anything
Marquee.
happen emotionally to make him score or anything?
I don't think it was like that. I think it's the family's gone. Let's.
I don't
bust
think he
it wide
wanted to
open.
go on tour. You know.
Yeah, that's possible. That
I don't
too.
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
In hindsight, I look at it, and there was a thing in the movie where he said something about he had to get out of there or something.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart. But
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
But Lisa corrected me, and there's a different explanation for it. That it wasn't actually what I
No,
thought.
he just wanted a different ride, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to be on the bus to
Right.
go to we were getting ready to go to Neil Young's.
Yeah, see, I thought he was
yeah.
like, get me out of here. Like, I need to get off of this tour.
Yeah, I think he just get me
right.
off the fucking bus.
I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
scene.
and I was like,
I think it was
oh
more
my
like
God.
getting
I was
off
like,
the
I was
bus,
haunted by it.
Yeah, I
And then-
know. It was painful.
Yeah, the final tape he made in his hotel room.
Right down to the last couple
in
minutes.
New Orleans, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that's right after I said goodbye to him
Yeah.
off the elevator because we were on
Yeah.
the same floor.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was really.
Yeah, I saw that tape, and it doesn't seem like he was that out of it. In
That's
tape
the
at
most
all.
frustrating clip in the whole movie. I look at that and I go, "That's a guy who's going to pass away in an
Right,
hour."
it doesn't make sense.
What like it's like the movie gave me less answers, which made me even more frustrated. When you see that film and he looks completely fine.
He did.
He's totally
I
sober. He's
agree.
drinking water. He's not
Yeah.
fucked up. He's not.
Nah.
And then a couple hours later, he's gone. Like there's no. It
Let me-
still
let me
hard
tell
for
you
me.
something. It was a punishing night, and
Yeah.
you may be relaxing and whatever at this point, but you've been through a lot of stress
Yeah,
you
I-
don't even know about
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
in that situation,
yeah.
and that's where he was. He was tired in ways that he didn't even know.
I see that.
So
I can see that. We just went to the dark side, didn't we?
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's important.
Started all happy-go-lucky. Now look at us.
Yeah.
this is not the feel good podcast of the summer, right?
No.
Should we go back to the B girl?
She's adorable. Did you see? She just had a baby.
She's had a baby. That's
She's had a baby,
That's
yeah.
right. Let's talk about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No, go back to that night. Who was the
know,
person
man.
who found him?
I don't know. man.
Yeah, our crew guys found him in a bunk on the bus.
What was your first reaction after when somebody told you that he passed away?
I'll never forget it. I ran to the bathroom and threw up.
Really?
Yeah. Our manager, we used to get these amazing phone calls. Like we'd be in bed and we like when things were going really well, we get these amazing phone calls from our manager Chris Jones and be like, "Hey man, you're number 10 on the charts today, and next week Tuesday, hey, you're number 3, whatever." So we get all these fun phone calls, and I'll never forget getting the phone call. That same phone call I thought I was getting, and he was like, "Shannon's dead." It was like it didn't register to me other than I ran to the bathroom. I remember immediately throwing up.
That's what he said. Shannon's dead.
Yeah, something to that effect. Shannon's gone. Shannon's dead. Shannon passed away. Whatever it was, Just immediately, I picked up the phone thinking I was getting one of those. Hey, you sold this many records this week, or whatever it was, or something, and that was it. And I remember Brad came to my room, and that was just.
It was a fucking weird day
That was
after
just a
that.
Yeah.
Weird day.
It's so weird.
Speaking of that, did you end up with me, Nappy, and Brad that night? No, you didn't.
No, I was so I was in shock.
Yeah.
I had no emotional response. I couldn't.
It didn't hit us till late.
I couldn't feel it.
Weird,
I was just like.
It was as weird as all the success we had. It's all mixed in together. It's just as weird as like, hey, you're on the cover of Rolling Stone. That sounds absurd and sounds like a lie. Just like, hey, your singer's dead. It's the same thing. It's the same category as I can't even process this information, whether it's something good or bad. It was the same thing. It was like par for the course at that point. Like, oh, I can't process this either. Maybe in 20 years I'll fucking think about this, but right now it's like, really? My singer's gone? What just happened? It was hard. It was a real hard.
We were all of us were all eggs in the basket.
Yeah.
Everything. You're completely. There was no other thing in my life. At that time, it was like all that I did, all that I thought about.
All of us.
Well,
That's
of course.
all. That's
I
all.
mean,
It's- everything is Blind Melon
like,
24/7.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
And it's so much success. Like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it was like and then
do
it
anything
was
else.
like all of a sudden, boom, it was over.
And it's not just like, hey, your friend died. It's like, hey, your friend and the CEO of your company died.
Yeah, like it's not. If I died, you could have kept going.
Dude, seriously. Recover in a day or two.
You're fucking,
cry a little bit, I'll be
I
fine.
have some recommendations actually, but but not him.
No, it was just the whole thing. Just you're done. One day, and then you're done.
So instantly, it was over.
Instantly, in one phone call, it's over. Just like that, your whole life is Blind Melon, 24/7. Then in one phone call, you're done.
All of you, like
done. That's it.
Was there like a meeting after? Like
we hung out at Glenn. Yeah, we hung out at Glenn's house, and I think we just were like, we got to continue because it's all we knew. We didn't know what else to do with our lives.
And then my dad showed up and got hammered. I remember that.
Oh, I don't remember that. At Glenn's house?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a trip.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Wow.
It was a little insensitive, I thought.
Well, people deal with pain in different ways. You can't judge him. We're good.
Nah, he was.
Your dad was awesome.
He was.
He was like a Shannon Hoon, actually. He had the
kinda
same
was.
charisma, honestly. If he wasn't a lawyer, he would have been a singer for a band.
He had a big personality.
How come you didn't get any of that charisma?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I'm
just kidding.
I'm like wallpaper.